Welcome back, guys. So in the last video we talked about the math object, and math objects, like I mentioned in that video, is one of the built-in objects that comes with the JavaScript language. And by the way, console.log that we've been using all along is also another built-in object. So the way you identify an object is usually you have something dot something. So whatever comes before the dot, this is an object, and whatever comes after the dot is either the method or the property. Now you know it's a method if it is followed by parenthesis. Now the parenthesis can either take argument or not take argument. So that's how you know whether that is a method. But if it just if it doesn't have parentheses, it means it's just a property. So I'm going to still talk more about the differences between object properties and object method, but I want us to be clear on how to identify an object. So the same way when we talked about the math object, we did math dot round, and then we did this. Okay, so and then we passed the number we wanted to round. So let's say we wanted to round, it's 58.99 blah blah blah. So you see, we know that this is an object because it comes before the dot, and we know that this is a method because it comes after the dot, and also it has parentheses in front of it, which is taking just one argument, and that argument is the number that we want to round down, or want to round to the nearest integer, to the nearest whole number, right? So that is how you identify an object method. On the other hand, properties are when you don't have parentheses in front of it, like when you have math dot pi. You see, so math dot pi is a constant, so it's a property, right? It's a, we know that math dot pi is always 3.14 blah blah blah, just like the pi when you are dealing with when you are doing geometry with circle. Okay, so this is a property, this is a method. Okay, and again, we're going to talk more about the differences between properties and methods, but I wanted us to be clear on the terminologies. Okay, so now I want to talk about date. I want to talk about another built-in object, and that is the date object. So we're gonna just put it here, and then excuse me. So date is a little bit different. The way you create date is a little bit different from the way you would create math object. So actually you're not creating it, they're already there, they're built in, so you just use it. But with dates, you need to initialize it first, because we create dates as instances of the date prototype, and this is what I mean, or the date class, sorry. So this is what I mean. So you say const noun. So noun is a variable name, and then you say new date, just like this. So this is going to give you the current date. So if I do console.log and then I do now, so let's see what that gives us in the console. You see, it gives us Wednesday 27th November blah 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 blah. So basically this is what we get. Basically this is the current date and time, right? And we get that just by doing new date. So what this line means is that we are instantiating the date class. If you don't know what that means, don't worry. So we have the date, and it gives us the current date. Okay, so next, sometimes you may also want to create it using, we also want to create date using a couple of initial values. So you can do 2024, then you can do 10, then you can do, actually not exactly sure if this is string, and then you can do 6. So let's take a look at that. Of course, let's put our console statement. So say console dot log now, then we save. Cool. And what it does is it creates a new date using this detail. So this is basically going to be, okay, let's see. It gives us 6th of November 2024. So the first is the year, the second is the month, and then the third is the date. Now notice this. You would think that this would be October because October is obviously the 10th month of the year, but what does it give us? It gives us November, and that is because the way JavaScript thinks of month, it counts months from 0. So the first month of the year is 0, second month is 1, third month is 2, just like that. So that's why the 11th month is 10, because it started counting from 0. It's 0 based. Okay, so we say that month is 0 based. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So the date is the way it is, the year is the way it is, but whenever you are dealing with months, always know that it starts counting from 0, not 1. Okay, so this is how you can create a new date based off of an existing data. Like, this is not the current, actually let me call this date. It's actually not now, so this should be date. Okay, so yeah, there you have it. Of course, there are times when you want your dates to be a little bit formatted. You don't want all these time zones and all that. Let me show you another way to create dates. Another way you can do it is to pass a string and do 2024 and then do 11 now. So this is going to be November, and then do, let's say, 08, and then to add a time you can do 04.00.00. So this is the month, this is the year, this is the month, this is the date, and then anything that comes after the T is the time, where this is the hour, this is the minute, and this is the second. And then if I save it, it's supposed to say 8 November 2024, and that's what we have, and also we have the time. Cool. So that is how you create dates. So we've seen 3 different ways to create dates. One is if you want to get the current date, just do date.noun without passing anything. It will give you the current date. If you want to create a date, a known date, right, you can just take whatever. So let's say you want the user to type the date, you can put it in this format. Let's see what happens if we don't include the time part. So we still get it, but then it gives us a default time, which is 1 a.m. Okay, but the date is actually there, the month, the month, the hold on, 2024 11, yeah, the month November 8th 2024, all of that is there. So we can create that without having to pass the time. Yes, so that works fine. And then you can also create date by just passing the month as numbers, not string. Can pass the year 2023 or 2023, pass the month. Remember that month is 0 base, so let's say you want to do October. So October is going to be 9, I guess, and then this is going to be 15th, and then this should give you 15th of October 2023. Okay, that's I hope that makes sense. So the next thing we want to do is to format the date, right? If you look at this, you may not want this to look this way, so you may now want to format it. So you can say date. You know what, let's deal with 2024, and let's have a console.log, so that actually we're going to call this formatted. So we say const formatted, and formatted is going to be, did I spell it correct? I don't know. So formatted is going to be date dot. So you see there are a couple of methods here, but the one we are interested in is the formatting. So we start with two. So you can say to date string, and then because this is a method, you follow it with parentheses. So we'll save that. We're not logging anything to the console, so we'll say console.log formatted. Okay, you see it gives us Tuesday, October 15th, 2024. Okay, so this is what to date string, this is what it gives us. You can also do to ISO string, and it gives you the date in this format, right? Or you can also do to local date string. It gives you the dates in this format. Okay, so you have a number of methods that you can use. So in this case, the month comes first, then followed by the date and then the year. This is 15th October 2024. And then you can do to what again? To local date string, you have to local string. I think this is the default. Oh no, it's not. Okay, this actually includes the time. You can also do to local time string, or you can do to UTC string. Okay, it gives it to you in this way. So it's really up to you how you want to present the date. Okay, yeah, so that's that on converting date. Now something else I want to show you is let's take it back to um the default. So we're not going to convert. So let's take out the method and we'll remove this, and we'll just do the date. We'll console log date, and then it gives us this. Now sometimes you want to get a certain aspect of the date, because this is a very long string. It has the week, the day in the week, it has the month, it has the day in the month, it has the year, it has the time, it even has the time zone, and it even has the time zone and the offset. So sometimes you are interested in getting just, you know what, let's do this. Actually, let's pass a date string. So we're gonna do 2023 for, give me a minute guys. Okay, so 2023 04 and 24th. So this is gonna be 24th of March. Actually 24th of May 2023. 24th of April, sorry, 24th of, hold on, yeah, because this is a string. Okay, so I add a time, and then I say 05, and For the second, I want to say 45. Actually, for the minute, I want to say 45. For the second, 22. And then I save it. Cool. So now, sometimes you want to get just a certain part of the date. You maybe just the year. Okay, so to do that, you can do date dot get date, and then again it's a method. So if you do get date, it returns 24th. So like the day in the month, that's what get date gives you. Sometimes you want to get just the year, so you can do get full year. It gives you the year. It's 2023. Remember, it's coming from here. We passed a custom date. We're not getting the current date, so it's 2023. Sometimes you want to get the month, so you can do get month. Remember, the month now is going to be it says 3, but what we passed is April 04, and that is where the zero based nature of months kicks in again. So April has index of 3, so it will give you 3. So you can, if you follow this convention, you can see that the last month of the year is going to be 11 and not 12. So always remember that. So you can also do get minutes. So it gets minutes. So minutes here is going to be 45, I guess. Yes, it is. You can also do get second and even get millisecond. So get second 22. So this is the second. So you can use this to get the different parts of the date. Okay, so to recap what we've done so far, we saw how to create date, how to create the date object. And the reason we are creating the date object, we didn't have to create the date object with math because we just accessed it. The reason we are creating date object in date is because what we have is a date class. So we creating a date object means creating an instance of the date class, and this is how you do it. Right, if you want to initialize, if you want to get the current date, you just do new dates and then you don't pass anything. Okay, this will give you the current date. But if you want it to be a custom date, let's say for instance you have an application where you want the user to fill a form, and in that form you want them to add their date of birth. All right, so that is not going to be the current date. It's going to be a date of an event that happened in the past, so they are going to have to add it, and you're going to specify the format. Maybe you want to specify the format that they should add it. Okay, so that is to be able to maybe store that as a date, you have to put it inside this new date and then pass whatever they have entered as date into here. I hope that makes sense. Or maybe format it some way. So and then you can also, finally, there is something called Unix timestamp. So that is what happens when you do new dates dot now. So it's going to give you the date in Unix timestamp. We're not going to delve deep into this, just wanted you to be aware of that. Hold on, console.log date. Need oh. Why isn't it logging anything? Console.log date dot new date dot now. Console.log dates. What's wrong? Okay, the noun is not a constructor. Okay, maybe. Oh, actually, it's date.now, not new date.now. So I can do date.now. Okay. Okay. It looks like it's a method. Okay, cool. So it gives us the dates in Unix timestamp. Okay, so this is what Unix timestamp looks like. If you want to convert this to the actual dates, what you would do is you can do, remember, this doesn't use the new date. There's no new keyword here, so we are not instantiating a new date object. What we are getting is the Unix timestamp instead, so just keep that in mind. So to be able to convert this Unix timestamp to an actual date, what you would do is you can do excuse me, you can do new date, and then you can pass that. Okay, so it will give you the actual date that corresponds to this, as you can see here. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Or you can just do new date and then you do date dot now, and that should work. Oh, actually with this. Okay, cool. So new date dot noun is actually a method, so you have to always add the parentheses. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. So but then, I mean, a better way to do this, if you want to get the current date, there's really no need to do this. If you want to get the current date, you can just do new date and it will still give you the same current date. Okay, so maybe in the next video, what we're gonna do is to, maybe I'm gonna show you some of the cool things you can do with the date object. All right, so what I've done so far is to show you how to create a date object, how to get a timestamp, or and then how to format date. So this is all you're going to be doing, most of what you're going to be doing with the date object. So in the next video we're going to see more practical use cases, or some things we can do. So imagine building things like an event countdown, so you rely heavily on the date object to be able to create things like that. So I'll see you guys in the next video.